Hey everyone, welcome to The Creek. My name is Jared Miller and I'm the ministry lead here. Nehemiah is an important story for us here at The Creek. It's a story of rebuilding capacity for ministry after it's collapsed, and so for us here at The Creek, it's a personal story. Last week, we explored its grounding in prayer, and you can go here and watch it if you want to, even if God doesn't take much of a central role in the book. But the first chapter ends with this really interesting line. I was cupbearer to the king. Now, the original copies of Nehemiah didn't have chapters or verse breaks in them. Those were added later to make it easier to find particular passages. But I love that some editor somewhere, lost to history, thought to make the choice to add a cliffhanger to the opening chapter of Nehemiah's story. Because what happens next is only possible because of the position that Nehemiah finds himself in. We mentioned last week that Nehemiah is a story of God working largely behind the scenes, with divine fingerprints all over it though. And nothing embodies this more than Nehemiah rising to this level. The cupbearer's job was to taste the king's food and drink in order to ensure that it wasn't poisoned. Because it was such a hazard, it was a position that couldn't be given to people of esteem, and yet it was a position that engendered a great deal of trust with the king. And so Nehemiah ultimately was perfect for this role. An outsider with no ties to land or title, yet one of the exiles who'd been brought to Babylon against his will. An exile who had served faithfully at the call of his king. Nehemiah, it turned out, was perfectly positioned to become the answer to his own prayer. Heartbroken ultimately over the vulnerability of those who had gone back to start rebuilding the city of Jerusalem, Nehemiah authentically uses his relationship with the king to bring much needed supplies, resources, and aid for the reconstruction of Jerusalem. Which is a great reminder for us today that sometimes you need to stay in exile. We don't get a lot of the details of Nehemiah's backstory and aren't told why he didn't return when others did, when the well-being of Jerusalem is so clearly top of mind for him. But he didn't. He heeded the advice of prophets like Jeremiah, who urged the exiles to buy fields and build houses. Investing in exile is often how God uses people to transform the world. I mean, for a contemporary example, think about immigrant stories you've heard of parents working multiple jobs and long hours to give their kids a better life. Or refugees who build thriving businesses out of literally nothing. Or think more historically of missionaries and social activists who, by force of will alone and hard work, transformed their reality around them into one that had previously only existed in their imagination. Investing in exile is the counterpoint to a culture that ultimately wants to withdraw to its bubbles and echo chambers, that really wrestles with the doubt and disagreement that are inherent in being a pluralistic society, and sometimes gets the chance to make a really big ask. We'll pick up there next time though. And for now, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay connected with all the content here at The Creek. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Bye.